So it's the big game this weekend, City versus Liverpool. Boy, oh boy, it's very exciting to be talking about this game. And first of all, to our viewers out there, I'll just like to say that it's very interesting how time can change the context of things. If for the past 3 to 4 seasons, this game is always a headline fixture for how the title could go on to be or where the title could tilt to. But this time around, it's more of a redemption case for one side, and for another side, is about maintaining the momentum. Of course, from that description, you already know which one fits, each side and all of that. But City find themselves in a very unfamiliar territory. In fact, for the first time ever, Guardiola has lost 13 games in a single season. It has never happened in his coaching career. This is the worst managerial record he has had, but I mean, City will always be City. Well, I'll ask a Liverpool fan here to give us, his thoughts on this particular context. Victor, how different are the stakes in a City versus Liverpool game this time around compared to previous seasons?
For Liverpool, it's not much different. It's City that actually seems out of place in this conversation. And this is first and foremost because of exactly what you mentioned. It's the worst season in Guardiola's managerial career. There's still a lot of pride at stake. There's still a Champions League spot for City at stake. It's not a meaningless dead rubber game. But at the same time, it also feels like, I think how we mentioned in the previous video about predictions, it feels like it's just going to be more open than usual. It just feels like they might attack a bit more and a bit more recklessly, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, fair enough. I just think I like the way you put it here. And over to you, Max. Let's take a look at City for a moment. Yeah, really, I think they have nothing left to fight for other than, like Victor put it, maybe a Champions League spot. And mathematically speaking, they are still in the Premier League title race. Mathematically speaking, at least, they are in the Premier League title race. And of course, they have a Champions League top four spot, to fight for. So now there's this notion on social media that has been going on. People are saying, oh, it's Guardiola that has just slumped. Some other set of people are saying no, Guardiola is the same Guardiola, but other teams are just better. So which one do you think it is?
I don't think that Guardiola is doing something bad, actually. The problem is his system was built for a player like Rodri, and that big injury, I think, paid a lot for them. So them not having at least at least a close player to Rodri in midfields was bad for them. So probably they still can climb top four, as you mentioned, and it would be okay. And if they can win a cup, it would be not this bad season for a team. Of course, we remember City winning everything every year. So actually, for a team like them, winning a cup and being in top four is okay.
Fair enough. I'm just going to say, I don't know, it might be controversial or not, but I'm just going to say that I don't think Rodri is the reason City are having this bad run of form. I think, in fact, I dare say that if Rodri was here, they will still lose as much. I don't think this has anything to do with Rodri. I think, first of all, for a start, City have, I think, the first or the second oldest squad on average in the Premier League. Most of their best players are turning 30 plus. They had to let Kai Walker go. Kevin De Bruyne, their best player, can't even start games because he's no longer as fit as we used to know him. Most of their key members are just past their best years and stuff like that. So I personally think that even if Rodri was here, they will still struggle as much. But that's my opinion. What do you think, Victor?
I think they wouldn't be in this bad of a shape with Rodri. I'm not saying it all hinges on him. I think it's a combination of Guardiola having an off season and other teams just being better. If you look at the progress shown by Forest, by Bournemouth, by Newcastle, even by Chelsea compared to the last 2 seasons. Like, sure, Forest and Bournemouth maybe kind of replaced United and Spurs 1-1, but it's not just those two. There's more to that, and at the same time, I think yes, Rodri being out doesn't help, but it's not just that either. And they had to deal with a pretty big injury crisis in late autumn as well, especially in defense, where they had so many players out and there was so much turmoil in their defense. So I don't think it's a very un-Guardiola like City right now. The season, the team, the way they're playing, the fact that they can't hold on to leads, and it's going to come back to bite them by the time May rolls around. I don't think they're winning the FA Cup either, by the way.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Max, this is just a very bold and straight up question. Who do you think is going to come out on top at the Etihad?
Somehow, as United fan, I want City to win. So we had a title race, at least something close to that. But I don't see them winning actually against Liverpool, at least at that point of season. So the best they can do is to draw, but most likely it's still Liverpool.
Fair enough. And over to you, Victor. How does a win for either side affect the title race?
Hmm. I think Arteta will probably start sending Christmas cards to the Haaland residents if City beat Liverpool. It would really spark some life into the title race if City were to win, and while not really putting it all in Arsenal's hands, but there would be a proper opening if City win. If Liverpool win, it's not exactly game over yet, but I'm sure it will count for a lot mentally for the Liverpool squad. It will give them a lot of confidence to go on and prove to everyone that, look, Schlott really knows what he's doing. Having said that, yeah, I'm going with the Liverpool win just because, yeah, obviously. But I think it will have a pretty big effect on the title race.
Fair enough. And moving on to the tactical battle of the game, who are the key players that we could watch out for, or which area of the game is going to have a very huge impact on how the result would end up? Victor.
I'm looking at two areas. First and foremost, the midfield. Nico Gonzalez is going to have to put in a proper shift against Soboslai. And I'm looking forward to Gravenberch and McAllister taking on Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden. Another bit to keep an eye on will be Kusanov's patch of turf, especially if Liverpool play Diaz as false nine. I
Yeah.
think Kusanov, he's already had a baptism of fire against Chelsea. Liverpool are a different beast, and I almost expect Diaz to put Kusanov on his butt, to be honest, literally.
Fair enough. You're not seeing anything in the wing battle, wingers versus the fullbacks.
Absolutely, especially if you look at Salah's flank. But I think that the midfield and Kusanov's right center back bit will be more important because it's the lack of experience from Gonzalez and from Kusanov in the City team, in how City operate. They're
Yeah.
not familiar with that, whereas Salah, everybody knows what Salah does. Everybody knows what to expect. You might not be able to defend against him, but even if he scores a hat trick, nobody's going to be shocked and awed. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Fair enough. And moving on just to the final, final thing for this video, as we always do when it comes to headline games. Score predictions, Victor. City versus Liverpool at the Etihad. What scoreline are
I
you going with?
I genuinely cannot make up my mind between 2-1 and 3-1 for Liverpool.
Hmm. Okay, okay. I did say that I expect one team in our prediction video. I said I expect one team to blow the other team away. I don't know which. So 3-1 could work. 2-1 could also work as well. Max, your prediction?
Yeah, actually I was thinking about 1-2 and 1-3 as well, but I want to do something different, so I'd say 2-4. A bit
Two,
about.
4, 4-2. 6 goals at the Etihad. I mean, that wouldn't be a shock, but yeah, That would be surprising.
My Salah, my FPL captain, says hi.
Yeah, he's my FPL captain too as well. So I'm a bit on the fence here, but oh well, I'll pick Premier League over the FPL. Salah can disappoint me for one weekend, or maybe he can just score a goal at least so that he doesn't blank, and I'll be fine. But yeah, that's about it. So it's going to be interesting. City versus Liverpool. The stakes are not as high as previous seasons, but there's still a lot to fight for. City still have their pride and a top four finish, to claim, while Liverpool will want to keep the momentum and show that they are still there to win the title. I think Liverpool winning this game brings the mental energy back, brings the belief back, and puts them back in the driving seat. So it's going to be interesting. Is Guardiola going to give it a fight as like previous seasons, or is he just going to let Liverpool have their way? We are going to see how that will go at the Etihad. It's a lot to play for. Haaland will want to show that he's still up there. Salah would want to, probably end his last season with Liverpool on a high note. So this match has all the poetry for something spectacular. And of course, we'll be here to discuss all the best match action and also the best implications of this game when we come back here next week.